Hey everybody, it's Matt Dabbs again from wineskins.org. If you've been following this series on leadership, you've watched it to this point, I really appreciate that. I think there are really some good things ahead. We just have to kind of deal with our own issues, and what the issues that I want to talk about on this video are our own personal issues as ministers. Many of us in ministry really struggle with codependency. We really like making people happy. We like keeping people happy. We do this to a fault. And because of that, many of us react to complaints. We react to people. We react to feelings. We try to be the person who's smoothing things over, who are helping people out and making sure that everybody's okay. But guess what? Two things. First, not everybody's going to be okay. And second, you are not going to be the one as a minister who's going to fix everybody. Us ministers are words people. We're fixers. We're often feelers. Although I'm not much of a feeler, but a lot of ministers are feelers, and they feel other people's pain, they feel other people's anxiety, and so they're trying to work out other people's pain to kind of work out their own pain, to work out their own worry and anxiety. And we also are words people. We're used to being in a position who are in front of people, teaching, preaching, instructing, and the words that we have, we tend to assume have a power to fix things, that we are skilled at wordsmithing and saying just the right thing at just the right time to the right people. And so we really pride ourselves on helping people and working with people and loving people and fixing things. And so I don't think it's so much a pride issue as much as it's a compassion issue, because many of us got into ministry to help people because we really enjoy doing that. We like seeing people who are having a hard time feel better. It makes us feel better. And so, and we also don't like bickering and arguing and complaints, partly because maybe sometimes if it's enough of those things, our job can be on the line, but also because we don't like seeing people unhappy. We like seeing people happy and smiling. And so we want to perpetuate happy, smiley people, and we want to diminish the complaints and the negativity, because the complaints and the negativity and the anxiety in the congregation becomes our anxiety. We take those things upon ourselves, and now we are into enmeshment, where our emotions get tied up with the emotions of other people. And this happens in family systems, but it also happens in congregations, and it happens a lot with ministers. And in family, enmeshment will happen with 2 or 3 or 4 people. In a congregation, the minister can be enmeshed with 2, 3, or 400 people or beyond. And that can be extremely unhealthy. And so how do we deal with that? How do we cope with that if you struggle with this in ministry, of enmeshing your feelings and your sense of value with what's going on around you? In psychology, we call that an external locus of control. And so we either tend to externalize things through behaviors that are external and public, or we internalize this dysfunction. Externalizing is not as typical because that's something that often people see and you can get in trouble for. And so often we hide things and internalize things. It can lead to all sorts of struggles with anxiety, depression, addiction, eating too much, being overweight, all kinds of coping mechanisms that we're wrestling through, trying to make sure that we're okay. And we're doing it in a way that is never really resolving the issue. And so because we're taking on other people's feelings and not allowing them to deal with their own feelings, then that really becomes an enmeshment thing. We're trying to be the fix, and we're not allowing them to, we're not even giving them the credit of thinking that they have the maturity to deal with these things on their own. And so we need to allow people the space to deal with their issues and not think that we're the ones who are going to fix everything. We're unable to fix everything. Only God can fix people's hearts. And so there often is a jealousy of other people when you're enmeshed. You're actually codependent with the congregation, with others, because other people don't have the same struggle that the minister has. Other people don't have to go home and take on those issues. Other people don't get called in the middle of the night with other people's troubles and are asked to try to intervene or fix or whatever. And so often part of the issue is not just within the minister, but within the congregation and the expectations that the congregation has on who the minister is and what the minister is supposed to be doing. And that the congregation, then that's the part of codependency, is also dependent upon the minister to come and fix their problems rather than them fixing them themselves. And so then they're handing their junk to the minister. And us as ministers, it's happy-go-lucky. We want everybody to be happy, and so we gladly accept it. Oh, please don't be anxious. Please don't be upset. Please don't be worried. No, I'll take all that on myself, and we'll throw it in the wagon, and then we'll just carry all this stuff around with us everywhere we go. And see, I can't resolve your issue, but you handed it to me, and I readily accepted it, and I threw it back here, and I'm carrying it with me, but I cannot resolve your issue, so guess what? I'm carrying it with me until you resolve it, and now we're enmeshed, and it's extremely unhealthy, and there's not really any way forward. And so we're going to, as ministers, we are going to have to learn to be okay with tension, with complaining, with frustration, and to stop taking those things personal. This is where a lot of ministers fall into a trap, is we take so many things personal. When anything is said, we kind of see ourselves in the middle of it. And so we jump to fix things, and we jump to get into things that are often not ours to fix. I can think of several examples in my ministry career where I've jumped into situations even that I wasn't even invited into or asked, because I thought, oh, I'm Mr. Fix-It and I have the knowledge and the know-how. I was very prideful to say, oh, I can fix that, no problem. And I ended up in an absolute mess because I was actually inviting myself in to take other people's struggles and troubles into my own life. How foolish is that? How prideful is that? How stupid is that? So, and maybe you've tried to do the same thing with probably fairly similar results. And so what we also experience as ministers is people try to triangulate us. And so person A has a problem with person B, but instead of person A going to B, they go to person C, which is the minister or the elder, because that's the person who has the leverage to get the attention or to be able to have the authority or the influence to correct person B. And so we circumvent what Jesus said about conflict resolution in the Gospel of Matthew, where if you have a problem with your brother, you go to that person, you try to resolve it. And if you can't, you get a couple other people as witnesses to go and try to resolve it. And if you can't do that, then eventually you take it up to the eldership or the leadership, the minister, let's say, and try to resolve those things. And then if you can't, you bring it before the church. That's a much healthier process than what we often see, where person A doesn't go to person B. They go to step 3 instead of step 1 and try to fix that other person through the leverage and authority of a minister or an elder. And when that happens, that minister or elder often takes on the struggle, takes on the trouble on themselves, and doesn't even try to mediate. They try to be the fixer. And if they can't fix it, if we can't fix it, we feel very guilty about that, because people are not okay in the congregation, and we want everybody so badly to be okay. And so we do not think that we can leave people in a state of trouble or tension or stress. And so we get very upset and resentful about having to take those things on. And again, this is codependency. It's enmeshment with other people's emotions. It's the idea of I, as the minister, am only okay if everyone else is okay. And when they're not okay, I'm not okay. And so we get very stressed, very anxious, very depressed, very resentful about the things that we felt very called to do. And so what do you do about this? Let me just offer a couple words on what do you do if you're a minister in this situation. You're going to have to not detach yourself from people, but you're going to have to detach your feelings from their feelings, that their feelings don't become your feelings. This is called self-differentiation, where I end and where you begin are completely separate. I do not allow you to come into who I am. I do not allow your feelings to become my feelings. I do not allow your anxiety or your trouble to become my trouble. I'm still concerned. I'm still interested. I'm still loving. I'm still helpful. But I can only allow myself to be taken to a certain level where you're going to have to work out your own stuff. But I'm going to help you in the way that I can and try to encourage you and pray for you. And so you are you, and I am me, and you are not me, and I am not you, and that's good. That's actually really good. It's very freeing. It's very liberating. We need well-differentiated leaders. Well-differentiated leaders are the only kind of leaders who truly can lead, because well-differentiated leaders know who they are, they know how they feel, they know where they're going, and they're going to go there. And if people complain and they don't get it, they can say, look, here's where we're going, here's who we are, here's how we're going to get there, this is why we're doing this, so please come along. And if people keep complaining, it's not going to take the leader off course, because the leader knows who they are, they know who God has made them to be and where God's calling them, and they're going to go there and take whoever is willing to go with them. So well-differentiated people make good leaders. Poorly differentiated ministers make very poor leaders, because you're reactionary and because you're responding and reacting to all the complaints and the other messages that are coming along. I got to make you okay, and I got to make you okay, and got to make you okay, and got to make you okay, all while trying to take this direction. Well, guess what? When you take a direction, you are automatically saying no to every other direction, where there are going to be people who have opinions where the other directions are the right way to go. And if you're enmeshed with them, you're going to get pulled every which way, and you're never going to get anywhere. And you're going to be frustrated, and you're going to be miserable, and complainers are going to rule the show, and no one's going to go anywhere, and no one's going to be better for it. So you're going to have to get okay with some dissension and some complaining, and let them adult. Just let people adult. Let them work it out. And so codependent people in ministry are always going to struggle to lead, because you're going to get pulled every which way every single time. You're going to be so resentful and so frustrated. And so let that go and let God deal with that. Okay? And I hope that that's liberating to you. I hope that's freeing to you. And maybe there's a minister in your life that maybe you want to pass this on to and share this with and say, look, I don't even know if this is a struggle for you, but maybe it is. Maybe you'll find this helpful or know someone else who is. Please share that with them. And if this is helpful to you, again, I hope that you'll subscribe to this. But I just really want to say that I appreciate you watching, and I appreciate your encouragement and support in the comments and the thumbs up and the subscriptions and the comments that have been happening on social media, on the Wineskins Facebook page and elsewhere. Thank you so much. God bless you. And I appreciate your help with all of this.